everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In this video tutorial we are going to learn how to crochet the Celtic weave stitch. The rule for this stitch is multiples of 4 plus 3, and it repeats 2 rows, row 3 and row 4. Now for this stitch we're going to be working with triple crochet, and on the good side we're going to be working front posts, and on the wrong side of the project we're going to be working back posts. Now please stay with me till the end, because once I finish my project I'm going to show you how, by having this small sample, we can calculate the chains that we need to work a bigger project. But then I'm going to also show you how to calculate the total rows that you're going to need for the length that you're going to desire for your project. Okay, so let's start. I have already started with my chain and I have worked a total of 23 chains. Okay, I have worked 5 times my multiple. 5 times 4 is 20, and the extra 3 chains that I need to start my project, a total of 23 chains. Now row 1 will be a row of single crochet, so out of the 23 chains I'm gonna be left with 22 single crochet. So skip the first stitch and put your hook in the second one and work 1 single crochet. 1 next stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and keep working up until you have a total of 22 single crochet up until the last chain. I have my 22 single crochet, and now we're going to start row number 2. I'm going to start with chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to turn my work. Now those 3 chains count as my first stitch, as my first double crochet, and it goes in this stitch over here. Okay, so for the first stitch we have the 3 chains. Now I'm going to be working triple crochet, so every time I'm going to be yarning over the yarn, I'm going to be yarning over, twice. Okay, always turn the yarn over your hook twice. Now every Celtic weave is being made in a total of 4 stitches. Okay, do not count this one because this is the 3 chain. So in the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to create the stitch. But when we have those 4 stitches, I always skip the first 2. I crochet in the 3rd and 4th stitch and then come back in the 1st and 2nd. Now in this row, once I work the 2 triple crochet on the 3rd and 4th stitch, once I come back to crochet in the 1st and 2nd, I'm going to be putting my hook in the back of the stitch, and I'm going to be forming the triple crochet, and then again from the back to the front of the single crochet to form the triple crochet. Okay, so yarn over twice, skip 1, 2, and put your hook in the 3rd stitch and work your triple crochet. So grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through the next 2, grab the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. This is how you work a triple crochet. Yarn over twice, put your hook in the 4th stitch and work again your triple crochet. Now we're going to come back to crochet in the 1st and 2nd that we skipped. So yarn over twice, and when we are on the good side of our work, our hook always goes in the front of the project. Okay, now put your hook from the back to the front of the first single crochet that we skipped and work your triple crochet. So grab the yarn, pull through the stitch, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, next 2 loops, and the last 2 loops. Okay, again, yarn over twice. This is the second stitch, so from the back to the front, put your hook, grab the yarn, pull through the stitch, pull through the first 2 loops, the next 2 loops, and the last 2 loops. So this is how the first crossing of the stitches looks like. Again, now yarn over twice, and we're going to work the next weave on the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to skip the first 2, and I'm going to work in the 3rd and 4th and come back into the 1st, and I'm going to put my hook from the back to the front, and then in the 2nd stitch from the back to the front. Okay, so 1, 2, put your hook in the 3rd stitch and work your triple crochet. Yarn over twice, put your hook in the next stitch and work your triple crochet. Yarn over twice, and now come back, and I'm going to crochet from the back to the front. Okay, your hook, when we're in the good side, always goes on the front of the project. Put your hook from the back to the front in the single crochet and work your triple crochet. Yarn over twice and work in that 2nd stitch from the back to the front. Okay, so we completed this weave as well, the crossing of the stitches. Now again, yarn over twice, skip 1, 2, and we're going to work in the 3rd and 4th stitches. And we're always working a triple crochet, yarn over twice, triple crochet in the 4th stitch, yarn over twice, and come back to crochet on the 1st and 2nd stitches that we skipped. First, we're going to crochet in the first one from the back to the front and work your triple crochet, yarn over twice, and again from the back to the front in the 2nd stitch and work your triple crochet. Now when you turn a little bit to the side, it helps you crochet easier those 2 stitches. Okay, again, yarn over twice, skip 1st, 2nd, put your hook in the 3rd and work your triple crochet, yarn over twice, put your hook in the 4th stitch and work your triple crochet, yarn over twice, and go back to crochet in the 1st and 2nd stitches. First, we crochet in the 1st from the back to the front and work your triple crochet. See how the work turns a little bit sideways? This helps to work the stitch a little easier. Yarn over twice, put your hook from the back to the front in the 2nd stitch. Okay, and work your triple crochet. So we completed this crossing of the stitches as well. Now we're going to work in the last set. Yarn over twice, skip 1, 2 stitches, put your hook in the 3rd and work your triple crochet. Yarn over twice, put your hook in the 4th stitch and work your triple crochet. Yarn over twice, come back to the stitches that we skipped, put your hook from the back to the front in the 1st stitch and work your triple crochet. Yarn over twice, put your hook from the back to the front in the 2nd stitch and work your triple crochet. And in the last stitch of the row, I'm going to work 1 double crochet right here in the end. The same thing as I have in the beginning. I begin and I end my rows with a double crochet, and in the center I have my weave stitch. Now we're going to start row number 3, and I want you to pay attention because now we're going to be working back posts, because this is going to be the wrong side of our project. So chain 3, and in the next rows I'm going to be talking a lot because I want to explain as well as I can how to work the stitches so you don't get confused. Okay, now when we are on the back side of our project on the wrong side, firstly we work 2 back post triple crochet on the first 2 stitches without crossing them with any other stitches, just plain triple crochet. Once I do that, I'm going to cross together those 2 stitches with the 2 stitches over here, which are the ones that go on the bottom left. Okay, I'm going to be crossing together those 4 stitches, those 2 sets. Then I'm going to cross together those 2 sets. The sets that we always cross together always look the same. The first 2 are the ones right here in the front, and the other set, the other 2 stitches are the ones back here, the ones that go on the bottom left. Then the next 2 sets that I'm going to cross together are these ones. The next 2, which are going to be the last one to cross, are going to be these ones. And the last 2 stitches that are going to be left, I'm going to work a plain, I'm going to work a back post triple crochet without crossing them with any other stitches. Same thing as in the beginning. Okay, so let's see how to do that. Just let me work my 3 chains all over. 1, 2, 3. So always those 3 chains count as a double crochet. Now yarn over twice, and the first stitch is this one over here, and I want to work a back post double crochet. When I work a back post double crochet, I want to put my hook from the back to the front on the right side of the stitch and take it out to the back again on the left side, so you're pulling backwards the stitch. Grab the yarn, pull it under the stitch. Okay, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, next 2 loops, and the last 2 loops. Again, yarn over twice, and the next stitch work a back post double crochet again. So open up your stitches so it's easier for you to see. It's this one over here, the second stitch. Okay, so put your hook from the back to the front on the right side of the stitch, to the back again on the left side, so you're pulling it backwards, and work a back post triple crochet. Now I'm going to start crossing the stitches. And as I mentioned, is the set that we're going to cross together are those 2. First, I'm going to work back post, 2 back post double crochet on those 2 stitches, on the ones that are going on the bottom left. So what I'm going to do, because the stitches are invisible, open up your stitches, a back post here, a back post here, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to work a back post in this one and a back post in this one. So 1 and 2 when I come back here. So yarn over twice, and first we're going to work the 2 back posts on those 2 stitches. And work your back post double crochet. Yarn over twice. Now the next stitch isn't visible at all, so open up your stitches so you can see it. It's this one over here, and work your back post double crochet, your back post triple crochet, sorry. Okay, so we worked the 2, which was the 3rd and 4th stitch. Now I'm going to come back to crochet on the 1st and 2nd that we skipped. So yarn over twice, and first we're going to work on the 1st stitch, this one over here. So now when we are working the wrong side of the project where we're working the back posts, my crochet hook always goes from the back of my project. When we are on the good side, our hook goes always from the front. Okay, so on the wrong side we always go from the back of our project. Okay, and now grab this stitch over here and work a back post. So put your hook from the back to the front on the right side of the stitch and take it back out on the left side. and work your back post triple crochet. Again, yarn over twice, and now this is the second stitch of the ones that we skipped. So I want to work a back post triple crochet in that stitch as well. So my hook goes from the back of my work. You want the hook to go from the back to the front on the right side, to the back again on the left side, and work your back post triple crochet. Okay, so this is how your work looks like. Now, even though it might seem far away, the next 4 stitches that we're going to work are these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the first 2, and we're going to work a back post double crochet, triple crochet on those 2, and then come back to work the back post on those 2 that we skipped. Yarn over it twice, skip the first 2, and open up the stitches so they're visible. Okay, just go ahead and open up your stitches a little bit. You can see the stitches on the back, they're the ones that are going to the bottom left. So first we're going to work a back post on the 3rd stitch. Okay, and work your back post triple crochet. Yarn over it twice. Now the next stitch isn't visible at all, so open up your stitches again, and this is the stitch that we're going to work, the 4th one. Pull it backwards and work your back post, pull it backwards and work your back post triple crochet. Now we're going to come back to crochet back post on those 2 stitches. So yarn over twice, take your hook from the back of your work, okay, and work a back post double crochet on the 1st stitch, a back post triple crochet, sorry. We're always working triple crochets. Yarn over it twice, and now this is the 2nd stitch. Okay, so take your hook from the back, pull backwards your stitch, and work your back post triple crochet as well. So we finished crossing those stitches as well. Now my next 4 stitches are these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the 3rd and 4th are the ones that go to the bottom left. So again, I'm going to skip the 1st and 2nd, and first I'm going to pull backwards the 3rd stitch. Just open up your work so it's visible enough. So pull backwards the 3rd stitch and work your back post triple crochet. Yarn over twice, open up your stitches so you can see the next stitch. It's this one over here. Pull it backwards and work your back post triple crochet. And I'm coming back to work a back post triple crochet on those 2. Yarn over twice, take your hook from the back of your work, okay, pull backwards the 1st stitch and work your back post triple crochet. Yarn over it twice. Now this is the 2nd stitch. Okay, pull it backwards and work your back post triple crochet. Now the last 4 stitches that we're going to cross together are these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Always start with the 3rd and 4th. Okay, here. And then I'm going to come back to the 1st and then the 2nd one over here. So yarn over twice and pull backwards the 3rd stitch. So just try to open up the stitches so it's visible enough, okay? So this is the 3rd stitch. Work your back post triple crochet. Yarn over twice. Now in the 4th stitch, around the 4th stitch over here, work your back post triple crochet, and then come back to work around the first and second stitches, always taking your hook in the back of your work. Okay, around the first stitch, and work your back post triple crochet, yarn over twice. Okay, now take your hook around the second stitch, pull it backwards, and work your back post triple crochet. Now I'm left with the last 2 stitches, 1, 2, which I'm going to work just a back post triple crochet without crossing them with any other stitches, as I did here in the beginning. So yarn over twice. Okay, and work a back post around the first one, a back post around the second one. Yarn over twice, work a back post around the second stitch. And now to finish off, always work a double crochet in the last stitch, which is a chain 3 that we always work in the beginning. On that double crochet, count the stitches from the bottom to the top, the chains, and on the third chain right here in the top, work a double crochet to finish your row. Okay, so this was row 3, and it was my first row of repetitions. Now we're going to start row number 4 by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn your work. Now see how my project looks like. It completes on how the results of the stitch looks like once you have always finished the back side, the wrong side. So the last row on any project that you're going to complete is going to be the repetition of the back side of your project. That's going to be the last row. Okay, and this is how it looks like. Now we're going to see how to work on the good side, where now we're going to work front post triple crochet. So on this side we're going to be crossing again a total of 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to be crossing them together. Then the next 4, which the first 2, the ones that we're skipping, are not visible at all, so you just want to open up the stitches. Okay, the ones that we're skipping are always the ones that are coming from the right to the left, and the ones that we are always starting with are the ones that are coming from the left to the top right. So we're going to skipping the first 2 stitches, work your front post on the 3rd and 4th, and then come back to work your front post here. The next 2 stitches, open up this one over here so they're visible. The next 2 that we're going to cross together are going to be this one. The next 2, open up the stitches, are going to be these 2 sets, then these 2 sets, and then the last 2 sets over here. So the sets that we're always crossing together, they always look the same. So this will help you to understand better the stitch. So yarn over twice, skip the first 2 stitches, and crochet in the 3rd and 4th. So work a front post double crochet. So put your hook from the front to the back on the right side of the stitch, to the front again on the left side. So we're pulling outwards now. And work your front post triple crochet. Yarn over it twice. Okay, put your hook around the 4th stitch, pull it outwards, and work a front post triple crochet. Now, as I mentioned earlier, when we are on the good side of our project, when you go back to crochet on the 1st and 2nd, always take your hook in the front of your project. Okay, and go back and crochet around the 1st stitch that you skipped. So work a front post triple crochet, yarn over twice, and work around the 2nd stitch. Pull it outwards and work a front post triple crochet. Now yarn over twice, and the next 4 stitches that we're going to work are 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the first 2, the ones that are back here, and crochet around the 3rd and 4th. So put your hook around the 3rd stitch, pull it outwards, and work your front post triple crochet, yarn over twice, put your hook around the 4th stitch, pull it outwards, and work your front post triple crochet. Now we're going to come back and see how my project looks like. What I want to do now is I want to open up those stitches over here so I can see the 2 stitches that I skipped back here are the ones that are hiding on the back. I'm going to work a front post around the first one and then a front post around the second one. Okay, so open up your stitches and work a front post around the first one, yarn over twice, and then a front post around the second one. Okay, now our next 4 stitches, yarn over twice, skip 1, 2, the ones that are hiding in the back, and work around the 3rd and 4th. First around the 3rd and work your triple crochet, yarn over twice, put your hook around the 4th stitch and work your front post triple crochet, yarn over twice, and go back to the ones that we just skipped, and they're the ones that are hiding behind those 2 stitches over here. So open up your work so you can see the 2 stitches that you just skipped. Okay, the first one is this one over here, and then once you have worked around the first one, the second one is a lot easier to see. Pull it outwards and work your front post triple crochet. Okay, now the next 4 stitches are 1, 2, the ones that are hiding on the back, 3 and 4. First, take your hook around the 3rd one and work your front post triple crochet, yarn over twice, take your hook around the 4th one and work a front post triple crochet, yarn over twice, and now go back to the 2 that we skipped, which are hiding behind those 2 stitches over here. So open up your stitches, and this right here is the first one. Pull it outwards and work a front post triple crochet, yarn over twice. Now take your hook around the second one, pull it outwards and work a front post triple crochet. Okay, now we have the last 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 2 are hiding behind this one. Okay, so yarn over twice, skip the first and second, put your hook around the 3rd stitch and work a front post triple crochet, yarn over twice, put your hook around the 4th stitch and work a front post triple crochet, yarn over twice, and go back to the 2 stitches that are hiding behind those 2 stitches over here. Okay, they're not visible at all, but I know that back here are the 1st and 2nd that I skipped right here. Put your hook around the first one and work your stitch, yarn over twice, put your hook around the second one and work your stitch, and now finish the row by working a double crochet on the last stitch of the row, which is a chain 3. Count 1, 2, 3 from the bottom to the top. So up here on the peak, work a double crochet. Okay, so this is 4 row and it's the 2nd row of repetitions. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to turn to the wrong side and I'm going to do the same exact steps as I did in row 3. So what we did in row 3 is first we worked 2 back post triple crochet on the first 2 stitches, then I crossed together the next 2, okay, the next 2 sets over here, then the next 2 sets over here, the next 2 sets. So the sets that we're always crossing together, they always look alike. So I'm crossing together the 2 stitches that I see here in the front with the 2 stitches that are going down left back here, and always start with those 2 with the 3rd and 4th, and then with the 1st and 2nd. Let's start. So yarn over it twice, and on the stitches that are hiding right here on the back, open up your stitches so they're visible. Okay, work a back post triple crochet on the first stitch, yarn over it twice, again open up your stitches and work a back post triple crochet on the second stitch. And now again I'm going to start crossing my stitches. So yarn over it twice, skip the first 2, 1, 2, and crochet on the 3rd and 4th stitches. So open up your stitches so you can see them easier. Okay, so back here, take your hook around the 3rd stitch, pull it backwards, and work a back post triple crochet. Yarn over it twice, put your hook around the 4th stitch, pull it backwards, and work a back post triple crochet. Now I'm going to come back to those 2 over here and always take your hook from the back and work a back post around the first one and a back post around the second one. So yarn over it twice, take your hook in the back from the back of your work, okay, and put your hook around the first stitch and pull it backwards to work your back post triple crochet. Yarn over it twice and again from the back of your work to work a back post on the second stitch. Okay, so now in the next 4 stitches, skip 1, 2, which are the ones that I can see here in the front, and start with the 3rd and 4th. So open up your stitches. Okay, so put your hook around the 3rd one and pull it backwards and work your back post triple crochet. Yarn over it twice, put your hook around the 4th one and pull it backwards and work your back post double crochet, and come back now to the 1st and 2nd. Yarn over it twice, take your hook from the back, okay, take it around the 1st stitch and work a back post double crochet. Yarn over it twice. Now take your hook around the 2nd stitch, pull it backwards and work your back post double crochet. Okay, now we're going to crochet around the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, and 3, 4, the ones that go down to the left. So I'm going to skip the first 2 and I'm going to start with the 3rd and 4th stitch as always. Okay, so this is my 3rd stitch, pull it backwards and work your back post. Yarn over it twice. Around the 4th stitch now, pull it backwards and work your back post triple crochet. Now I'm coming back to the 1st and 2nd. yarn over it twice, take your hook in the back of your work, okay, and you're pulling backwards the first stitch. Okay, let me do that over. And work your back post double crochet, yarn over it twice, and take it around the second stitch now, and work your back post triple crochet. Okay, now we're gonna cross the last 2 sets. So yarn over it twice, skip the first 2 stitches. Okay, open it up so you can see the 3rd and 4th. Okay, so I'm gonna take my hook around the 3rd stitch firstly, and work your back post triple crochet, yarn over it twice, take your hook around the 4th stitch, and work a back post triple crochet. Now come back to the first 2 that you skipped. Okay, so around the first one and work a back post triple crochet, yarn over it twice, okay, and around the second one now and work your stitch. Now I'm left with the last 2 stitches over here, which again I'm going to work them by themselves. Okay, so put your hook around the first stitch and work your back post triple crochet, yarn over it twice, put your hook around the second stitch and work your back post triple crochet, and as always work a double crochet on the last stitch of the row. Chain 3 to start your good side again. So see how I just completed the wrong side and how this stitch looks like? Now I'm going to work a few rows off camera so you can see how the project looks once you have made a few extra rows. Okay, so always again when you're on the good side, you're crossing together, you're weaving together the 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. Always start with the 3rd and 4th, and always you're working a front post double crochet, and then around the 1st and 2nd, and always when you're in the good side you always work your hook from the front. Now the next 4 stitches that you're going to weave together are the 2 that are hiding behind those 2 over here, and you know that when you're in the good side, the 2 that you're skipping are the ones that are coming from the bottom right to the left, and the 2 that you're crocheting firstly are the ones that are coming from the left to the right. So let's find the 2 stitches that are hiding behind here. So these are the 4 stitches you're going to weave together. Okay, again, find the 2 that are hiding on the back. The next 4 stitches are weaving together. The next 4 stitches are going to weave together. And the last 4 stitches that you're going to weave together, and 1 double crochet in the last stitch. Now, the last row that I want you to work is a row of the wrong side of the project, because this is where we can see how the project looks like. The stitches come out and they weave each other. So this is the correct way to have the end of your project. Okay, so the last row will be a row of back post triple crochet. So once I finish a few extra rows, I'm going to turn my video back on. We're going to see how it looks like, and then I'm going to explain how, by working this sample over here, we can calculate the stitches on how to work a bigger project. I've completed crocheting a few extra rows, and as I mentioned before I turned my video off, the last row would be a row of the wrong side of the project. Okay, Now, for any project that you're creating, after you crochet the wrong side, the very last row will be a row of single crochet. So chain 1 and turn the work, and starting to crochet from the first stitch, I'm going to have a total of 22 stitches as I had throughout my project. If you have a wrong number of stitches and not the same as you started, this means that somewhere you have made a mistake. So starting from the first stitch, 1, 2, 3, so we're working one single crochet across, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and the last stitch, which is the double crochet. So in the third chain, counting from the bottom to the top, my 22nd single crochet. So this is the end of the project, and this is how it looks like. Okay, this is a very beautiful stitch. It's kind of difficult in the beginning until you understand how you're supposed to be weaving the stitches, but as you go through the rows, you'll be crocheting with closed eyes. It's a very easy one, okay? So chain 1, since you're done your project, cut the yarn and fasten off. Now let's see how, by using this small sample, you can calculate the stitches and the rows that you will need to crochet a bigger project. Let's see how to do that. Okay, so now let's see how to calculate the stitches. We're using the Celtic weave stitch. The rule is multiples of 4 plus 3 chains, and my repeating rows are rows 3 and 4. Now, let's see, for example, I want to make a baby blanket, which is a square one, 30 by 30 inches, okay? Now, the rule on how to calculate your stitches are the number of stitches that gave you your 4-inch sample. In this case, we had 22 stitches, times the inches that you want to reach, times the total inches that you want for your width, and you're going to divide that number by the width of your sample, of your gauge, okay? Now, so the number of stitches that gave me my sample, my gauge, my 4 inches width, okay, I have a total of 22 stitches. Now be aware, I do not want the number of chains, but the total number of stitches that I have in my rows, okay? I have 22 stitches. So the number of stitches that gave me my 4-inch sample times the inches that I want for the width of my blanket. I want 30 inches width, so I'm going to multiply that by 30, and I'm going to divide that number by 4 because 4 inches is the width of my sample. Okay, so let's see, 22 times 30 is 660, and I'm going to divide this number by 4. And the result is 165. So my equation over here is telling me that I need 165 stitches to reach a 30-inch sample, my 30-inch blanket. Now, what I want you to do now is I want you to know that the total number of stitches has to go along with the multiples that I need for the roll, okay? So if I take the 165 and I divide this by 4, because my stitch has a rule of multiples of 4, okay, sets of 4, the result is 41.25. Now just stay with me, this is not difficult. I'm dividing the number of stitches by 4 to see if this is exactly, will give me a whole number, which will be the number of sets that I will have. And the result is 41.25. Now, since the decimal is smaller than 0.50, I have a 41.25. What I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 1 stitch and then again divide it by 4 to see if I will get a whole number as a result. So I'm going to do 164 divided by 4, and the result is 41. So in order for my roll to apply correctly and to have the correct number of stitches, I need a total of 164 stitches to start with, and this will give me a total of 41 sets of 4 stitches, okay? So from those 164 stitches, my roll says multiples of 4 plus 3. I'm going to add an extra 3 chains in the end for my design to come out correctly. So I'm going to start my project with a total of 167 chains. And this is how you can calculate the number of stitches that you're going to need for this width over here. Now let's see how to calculate the total number of rows that I'm going to need for a 30-inch height of the blanket. Now, the equation is about the same. I need to know the number of rows that gave me my 4-inch height in this case. And now, because the first and last rows are only single crochet, I will not count them as part of the stitches because the result is going to come out wrong. I'm only going to count the center stitches the center rows that I crocheted with a stitch, and I worked a total of 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last row 10. Only the rows of the weave stitch. Okay, so the number of rows that gave me the 4-inch height for my sample times the height that I need for my project. In this case, I need 30-inch height, and I'm going to divide that number by the height of my sample, of my gauge. Height of sample. Okay, so the number of rows that gave me the 4 inches are 10. Okay, times the total height that I need for my project, which is 30 inches over here, times 30. And I'm going to divide this number by 4 because the total height of my sample is 4 inches. Okay, so 10 times 30 is 300 divided by 4. 300 divided by 4, the result is 75. So I'm going to need a total of 75 rows for a 30-inch height blanket. Okay, and once you work your 75 rows, you're going to have one extra row of single crochet in the beginning, one in the end, so you will have about 77 rows. Okay, so this is how you're using your gauge, your sample that you're crocheting, to calculate the stitches and the rows that you will need for a project. Now, please be aware, because I know many people have not understood this yet. If you make a sample with a thinner yarn and a smaller crochet hook, of course you're going to have more stitches and more rows. If you make a sample with thicker yarn and a bigger crochet hook, you're going to have less stitches and less rows. So this gauge does not apply for all types of yarn, so all types of crochet hooks. It applies for this DK yarn that I'm using and my 4.5mm crochet hook. So you always have to start, always with a sample before you start a crochet project. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful enough. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, leave a comment, and please share with your friends these detailed videos so they can learn how to crochet as well. Thanks again. Bye bye.